This is Personal Injury Court.
Good day, everyone. This is the matter of Winslow versus Low Tide Cruises, Inc., which is represented by Mr. Collins. It's my understanding, Ms. Winslow, that you are suing Low Tide for injuries that you received while on one of its cruise ships. You're asking this court to award you past medical expenses of $47,000, future medical expenses of $20,000, pain and suffering of $200,000, scarring and disfigurement of $325,000, for a total award of $592,000. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Collins, you believe that if Miss Winslow had followed the rules of the ship, she would have never been injured. This is her fault, not yours.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's get into the legal sauce. What led you to want to get on a cruise ship?
Well, Your Honor, I'm actually a social media influencer and a travel blogger. I'm also a mom. I love to help other moms, find affordable vacations that they can do with their children. I have 67,000 followers on social media, and people love the fact that I give them affordable travel tips.
So you get on social media and give tips, and then how do you get paid for that?
Well, that's what it is. It's promotional. So I have luxury clothing and travel brands that I partner with.
What kind of trips have you taken?
Oh, I've been all over the world. I've been to Peru, I've been to Colombia, I do rappelling, I do skiing, cruises, beach, like you name it, I do it.
This is an exciting life.
Yes, it is, Your Honor, and I love to help other people.
So, Mr. Collins, tell me about Low Tide Cruises.
I've been with Low Tide Cruises for 17 years. I became president of Low Tide Cruises in 2016, and it's just a phenomenal cruise line. We have been rated highly through multiple different consumer agencies the past 2 years. Miss Winslow herself has even rated us extremely highly on some of her travels. She's traveled with us in the past, before this particular cruise.
So Low Tide is a real player in the cruise ship business?
I would like to think so, yes, sir.
So you picked Low Tide because it was one of the players?
Yes, Your Honor, it was originally.
Why this ship?
This ship had an ice skating rink, right? So that's an experience that I had never had before. And I said, okay, let me go ahead and try the ice skating rink. I'd never seen a cruise with that before, and report that back out to my followers about my experience.
How did you get hurt?
Oh God, Your Honor, it was horrible. So I was skating on the ice, everything was fine. The first couple of times I went around the rink, I actually tripped on a gouge that was deep in the ice. I flew first into the wall. Okay, Your Honor, I broke my collarbone. I have a huge laceration in my leg. I'm currently disfigured and scarred there. I broke my ankle. It required rods and screws to fix, Your Honor.
This was a bad fall.
It was horrible. It was painful, embarrassing, and now I'm permanently disfigured. And this affects my brain, Your Honor.
You submitted some photos to this court. It wasn't just a cut.
No, Your Honor. It was a huge laceration. It required 25 stitches, and it got infected. So now it's permanently scarred.
This is your ankle?
Yes, Your Honor.
So when you fell, one skate went and gouged into your other leg?
Yes, Your Honor.
And caused this kind of injury?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's amazing you didn't bleed to death out there.
It's true, Your Honor.
Mr. Collins, how did you know something had gone wrong?
I was phoned immediately, Your Honor. I was not on board the ship at the time. I was land-based in my office. All of our crew go through extensive safety protocols and training, but we also have multiple highly trained medical facility people on each level of the ship.
Okay.
And as soon as this happened, one of the ship's doctors was phoned immediately through radio, and he was by her side within 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes response time, Your Honor, and every ounce of medical resources
impressive.
we have. Thank you. Your Honor, she was skating in the wrong direction, first of all. We have protocols and safety measures going on.
I thought they were suggestions, Your Honor. It's supposed to be
Were you skating in the wrong direction?
Yes, Your Honor, but I never ran into anybody. That's
Doesn't
not
matter.
why I fell. It was the gouge.
Well, I grew up roller skating. I've never been on ice skates, but you don't skate against the grain. I mean, you skate with everybody. Otherwise, it's going to be bumper cars out there, right?
I never ran into anybody, even though I was skating in the wrong direction.
She was going in the wrong direction, Your Honor. This is not our responsibility.
It was the
So
gouge.
you believe that her going in the wrong direction is what caused her
It
injury?
contributed to it, yes, sir.
But how's she supposed to know that she can't skate where she wants to?
Well, there's signs everywhere along the rink that says skate in a clockwise formation.
Did you see those signs?
Yes, Your Honor, but like I said, I've been skating since I was a child, and I thought those were more like suggestions.
If you know how to drive and you drive on the road, those are rules and laws, not
Mr. Collins,
suggestions.
let me do the lecturing in here.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Please
Thank
forgive
you, Your
me.
Honor.
So did you see that sign?
Yes, sir. I did skate a couple of times in the wrong direction, but again, Your Honor, it was that divot, that deep gouge in the ice that caused me to trip. I never ran into anyone.
But these are the skating rink rules. Only skate clockwise. Mr. Collins, if she's going clockwise, couldn't she still have hit this gouge in the ice? And we still be here today?
I'm still not convinced there was a gouge. I think this is simply of somebody slipping on the ice. It's possible, probably, to have hit the gouge, but still, she was going against the grain.
Now, she's not out there alone. There are other people skating,
Yes,
right?
yes, sir.
They're all skating clockwise.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you got all those blades out there. They're going to chip that ice up. What do you do to protect that?
Your Honor, every one of our onboard attractions have safety features involved, and we go through regular maintenance. One of the maintenance things that we do for the ice rink is resurface that ice 3 times a day. That is our scheduled maintenance. For an ice rink this size, 2 times a day is sufficient. In fact, 2 times a day could be over and beyond, but we go a 3rd time because we want the ice to look pristine.
So on the day of this
Your Honor,
incident, how many times?
They were not resurfacing the ice, and it wasn't smooth. It definitely wasn't. There was a huge gouge in the ice. I don't think they resurfaced it at all. I didn't see a machine out there, and again, there are so many people that are skating around. They should be doing it every hour on the hour.
Mr. Collins, how many times on this day, when this incident happened, did your folks resurface the ice?
On this particular day, it was done once before the incident and once after. We did not do it a 3rd time because the machine was having issues at the time.
Well, Miss Winslow, you're out there skating around. Didn't you notice that the ice was a little bumpy?
Yes, but I didn't notice that huge gouge, Your Honor, which is the reason that I slipped, tripped, and fell.
Well, is this the kind of thing that she ought to be able to see, Mr. Collins?
Well, I can't really speak for what she can see, Your Honor, because the ice does get bumps over time, and that's why we do the resurfacing to smooth it all out.
It was a gouge, Your Honor. It was deep, at least an inch.
Well, you can see my fist from here, right?
Yes, sir.
So why couldn't you see the gouge in the ice?
It was smaller than your fist, Your Honor. See, additionally, the cruise liner is responsible because they gave me skates that weren't safe. Okay, the skate laces were too short on one of my skates.
So they supplied the skates to you?
That's correct. They are responsible for the skates.
So what was wrong with the skates?
The laces were too short on one of the skates, and I even tried to return them because I was worried about ankle support since one of them didn't lace all the way up, and they said they didn't have anything else in my size. It was completely safe for me to get out there. Since then, I've obviously realized that that's not safe.
Mr. Collins, your folks giving out skates that don't work?
No, sir, no, sir. I've seen videos of her on her blog where she's been rollerblading, she's been skiing. She knows the importance of proper foot equipment.
Rollerblading and skiing, that's one thing. She's standing on ice out here.
Yes, sir. I've been skating myself, Your Honor, and they've been loose skates. I didn't get the proper ankle support. I could hardly go 5 feet, much less a couple of rounds.
She should know what a tight boot does for safety, right?
If she didn't, she's a blogger, she should have researched it.
Now, Miss Winslow, this is you right before you started skating, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
That skate in your left hand looks like it's got less string on it than the one in your right hand.
Yes, sir.
So you knew what you were doing in putting these skates on, right?
But Your Honor,
Your Honor, we may not have had the same size, but we had laces.
I told them it was a little bit short, and they said, no, it's fine. Those skates have been used earlier in the day by everybody else, and that it was fine and I would be safe.
Did it feel fine up until the time that you hit this gouge in the ice?
Up until I hit the gouge, Your Honor, yes.
I've got size 13 feet. I've had them since I was 12 years old. I look like a capital L as a kid.
Your Honor.
When I go up to get the skates, they would give me size 13. If they didn't fit right, isn't that on the skating rink or on the cruise ship?
Well, Your Honor, we can't force somebody to get new laces. It was recommended, I'm sure, but I don't have any record of that.
Your Honor.
But I do, Your Honor, have an incident report from the doctor where she claims she slipped on the ice.
Okay, Sheriff Matt, will you get this?
She didn't trip because of laces. She slipped. And here's the full report, sir. I'm sorry.
Let me take a peek at it. Okay, this is a medical incident report. Hannah Winslow, that is you, Miss Winslow?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it says, patient slipped on ice, broke ankle and collarbone, suffered laceration to calf and ankle. It doesn't say anything about a gouge in the ice. In fact, it says you slipped.
No, Your Honor, I definitely tripped, and I don't think it's my responsibility for them to put the wrong word in the report, okay? Their doctor obviously wasn't a great doctor. They sent me to this third world hospital.
Your Honor, that's my doctor's report, not from the hospital she went to.
Well, it says you slipped on the ice. Slipped and tripped.
I tripped, Your Honor. I tripped.
Because if you slip, you lose.
No.
You understand that?
I understand, Your Honor. I tripped.
Because that means that's on you being a bad skater.
No, sir. It was the gouge in the ice. I definitely tripped.
Miss Winslow, you've had some severe injuries.
Yes,
The one
sir.
that's most disturbing to me, I know you've messed up your arm and other things, is this gouge to your leg. This thing just sliced you open like a surgical scalpel.
Yes, Your Honor, and it's preventing me from partnering with new brands.
And that's why you're asking this court for $325,000 for scarring and disfigurement.
Yes, sir, I'm horribly disfigured. I'm still in a lot of pain, and my business is impacted.
Mr. Collins, you see this has affected how she makes a living.
Yes, sir. What I'm saying is she's trying to use her social media connections and influence to get her medical bills taken care of.
Mr. Collins, I see you brought a witness.
Yes, sir.
Sir, would you stand and come to the podium?
This is Logan Harris. She's one of my bartenders, sir.
Tell me what your role is in this.
I'm a bartender at the lounge on the Lido deck. She came into the lounge, she came into my bar. It was really a bizarre experience. She came in and she made it very clear that she had a famous blog, and it kind of seemed like she was pressuring me into getting her free drinks for her and her husband. I was her best friend, and almost as she was flirting with me a little bit, just made it real awkward because it was right in front of her husband. So.
Miss Winslow, were you
Flirting
trying to
with
get
my
some
husband.
freebies?
It's a business exchange. I do promotion for these companies, and in exchange, I do sometimes get free products and services.
Are you supposed to do anything to let your folks know who follow your blog that you're getting the stuff for free?
Yes, sir, I do have to post something saying that this is an ad or a promotion, and I do that. I'm completely in compliance with all the laws and regulations around travel blogging.
Your Honor, that's not true. We pulled it up. There's some posts that have the hashtag ad, which is admittedly that I do get paid or I do get this service for free, but she doesn't do it on all of them.
Okay, so you've got some
don't get paid
posts
for
Yes,
that
everything.
Miss
I
Winslow.
did submit a, there's one right there.
Okay, Miss Winslow, is this one of your posts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's what it says. Fam and I had the best time on this zip line in Mexico. Hashtag family vacation, hashtag ad, hashtag Mexico. Now, tell me where the disclosure is on that one.
Once you see hashtag ad, you know that it's an advertisement.
Not everybody
That's-
knows that, Your
But
Honor.
that's
I
all
didn't know it
that's
until the
all
legal
that's
team
required of
explained
me
it to
legally,
me.
Your Honor.
So the average guy like me, we'll assume I'm average, has to look at hashtag AD, and I read that and say she's getting paid for this?
But people on social media read hashtags.
Well, they read it. I'm trying to figure out, did you comply with federal law?
Yes, absolutely.
Because if you're cheating folks according to federal law, I gotta factor that in when I figure out whether I believe you today.
No, sir, I did what was required.
Your Honor, not everybody knows what hashtag ad means.
You believe she's up to trying to get something for free again, just in this lawsuit?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you may be seated. Thank you so much. Miss Winslow, do you take any responsibility for your injuries?
No, Your Honor, my business is impacted, my appearance is impacted, and I'm in horrible pain, Your Honor.
Folks, I think I've heard what I need to hear. I'm ready to render my decision. In every personal injury case, the plaintiff has to prove three things. You, Miss Winslow, have to prove that Low Tide Cruises was wrong, that their wrong caused your injuries. Here, you've put up evidence that you went to this cruise line to go ice skating because it was a unique feature. You were gonna put it on your blog, excite your followers, and continue this really successful career you have. Instead, you get out on that ice and you hit this hole, and this skate nearly takes your foot off. Mr. Collins, I can see this means a lot to you. You've put up evidence that you all had a routine, a procedure for cleaning this ice. And even once a day, you believe that's sufficient in light of the number of skaters. And frankly, if there's a hole so big, she should have seen it. You believe she's out there skating in the wrong direction, and although terrible injuries, these terrible injuries are hers. You think she's trying to kind of get a little deal here to get you to paramedical.
Yes, sir.
You all had a responsibility to maintain this ice the way you had. On this particular day, you didn't do it 3 times. You didn't even do it 2 times before this incident. You did it once. No wonder there is a gouge in the ice. You, Miss Winslow, you could have not gone out on those skates, you could have kept a better lookout, and you could have followed the rules. The law says you are both responsible. I find that you are 30% responsible, and Low Tide is 70% responsible. In that regard, I'm going to award you 70% of what you seek. You're asking this court for a total award of $592,000. I'm going to award you 70% of that, which is $414,400 against the defendant. That's my final verdict, and this matter is adjourned. attorneys across America just viewed this case for the first time. Let's hear what Richard Harris has to say.
The cruise ship deviated from its own policy of resurfacing the ice 3 times a day. The reason for this resurfacing is to smooth and repair any gouges in the ice to make sure the surface is safe. The gouge in the ice was not really an open and obvious defect. The defendant had a duty to keep the premises, in this case the ice, in good repair, and they failed to do so, so the plaintiff won the case.